So as we have established on this channel, I am pretty much a maintenance nerd. So as my beloved 2025 crossed over the 100-hour mark, I dutifully went and double-checked all my fluids, did the changes that I had to do, and when I got to the front axle, well, it's probably better if I just do a reenactment. So it turned out I was almost out of front axle fluid. I was just at the way bottom of the little sticky there, and of course I started to do some research. What did I come up with? Very common, 1 series, 2 series, 3 series, etc. Front axle fluid is an issue. In my research it shows that there's no real conclusive answer as to why, but it's important for you to keep an eye on your front axle fluid like it is every other fluid in the tractor, but these tend to lose some. I don't know how. There are a couple different hypotheses. The first one being that the oil expands as it heats up and goes out of your seals. In the same vein, also it heats up and goes out the dipstick slash cap here. And regardless of how it happens, the end result is still the same. You're losing front axle fluid. And it seems like there might be 2 causes and no one really knows why. Is it because it's in 4-wheel drive and it's heating up, which would to be expected, or loader use and you're working the front axle? I don't think it's an A or B. It might be a UB, whereas it's kind of a combination of both. But I can tell you, in my experience in my yard with my tractor, the majority of the time that this tractor is working, it's in 4-wheel drive, and we're working it pretty hard. Between lifting logs, heavy capacity, really torquing on things, stumps and the like to get them out. I'm guilty of both of those. So I started researching solutions. Of course, in the land of consumerism, that is the United States, plus things being green and yellow, there is a solution to this problem that you can buy. So I went out, I got from Otis Innovation a vented dipstick tube. Now this seems to, according to the internet, universally take care of this issue. So before you guys came on, I took my front end loader off, just more for kind of ease of filming and just to be able to get in here. And I've also refilled my front axle to the proper levels. And now it's time to install the vented dipstick cover. Let's do it. So as we get wrapped up here, if you're doing this and you're double checking your fluid, let me give you a piece of advice. Whoa! Don't just try to fill it up through here. There's no way for the air to escape, which is kind of ironic considering what we're doing here. But definitely pull the vent out or open the vent out. It's going to be painted over. It's a 4mm hex, and you got to kind of pick the paint out to get the tool in there, but it comes out relatively easily. Otherwise, you're going to bubble up and kind of make a mess all over Mama's driveway. So do yourself a favor and pull this vent off, and it'll make your life that much easier. All right, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull off the side plate here and start investigating a little bit. Look at me, still using the key to open up the hood because I don't have a product to sell you. There's nothing wrong with this system. There is a way for you to throw some more money at a problem that really isn't that big of a problem. Excellent. So what we're supposed to do is install the vented cap here. I believe string it right up along here. This looks to be like an ABS plastic. So the kit that they send has all the parts in it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm seeing if I could perhaps modify or change it. I don't know if I'm gonna. I might just stick with the instructions, which is using the sticky tape, stick on the little squares that hold the wire ties in place, because you're going to be wire tying the hose up here. I thought maybe I would use like a self-tapper or something, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and clean the mating surfaces, stick them on just like the instructions say. The area that I'm talking about here is the fan shroud itself. I don't know if I made that clear earlier. I'm going to mount those squares right on the fan shroud. Gonna clean this off with some isopropyl. This is the good stuff. This is 91%. You want to clean some stuff? You get some. This is the stuff that bums drink. This is the good stuff. You want to really clean something, electronics, without really worrying about them damaging. you get yourself some 91%. Not that old 75% on the shelves at CVS. Although, I'm sure you can get this at CVS also. So, just wiping this down with some, ooh, look at that. Ooh, that's clean. That's good stuff. 91% is the good stuff. What's the next thing we're gonna get? We're gonna get these squares mounted up. I mean, I keep calling them squares. What would you call them? Like zip tie holders? I'm gonna go ahead and put the new dipstick on. Get a little oil on that old O-ring there. Not gonna throw the old one out. We'll just put it in the spare parts tray. Pretty straightforward so far. Now I'm gonna work backwards. Here's where I defer from perhaps the written instructions or any other videos that are out there. Again, my property, my tractor. I don't know how much I'm actually gonna trim out of this because it's gonna get caught. There's no question about that. So in order to alleviate the inevitable, I'm gonna keep the tube as long as I can. Okay, so we got them just kind of loosely in there. They're in there, but they're just loose. So here's my area of concern. Maybe I'll switch it around. So even though we're not moving a ton of fluid, I now have an exposed line outside the covered zone. I know that we have flex in the axle, so that's immediately I'm gonna need 3 inches or so to accommodate for the flex. So I might put that last holder kind of loosely right underneath here and then leave this loop on here because just to give it a little bit of play. See, see, it's already kinked right there. It's kinked, and I don't want to kink it. Well, we don't kink shame in certain aspects. In this regard, we want to kink shame as much as possible. Oh, let's go get that, let's get the bum juice out and clean up this spot right here. So I used the 4th wire tie hanger right in this area here. And then there's also this pre-drilled hole in the frame here. I didn't add anything. And I kind of have them loosely in there. We're going to need the motion to go back and forth, but still keep it tight to the frame and tucked up against. These ones I'm going to tighten up and then have the flexibility down here. If it sucks, I'll report back and let you know. To clamp or not to clamp, am I going to clamp? I'm going to say yes, I am, because I want this to be a solid point and have the travel go in here. Your results may vary, but that's what I'm going with. All right, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to reassemble everything, put the front end loader back on, lift up the front end. This way I can rock the axle back and forth and see if this harebrained scheme actually works out. All right, I don't like it. Once I put everything back together, I got this kink right here. The flex is cool. I'm cool with the amount of flexing and the motion that's there. It's not pulling on anything. It's good to go. But I might trim a little bit more. Oh, no, I'm going to trim a little bit more off. So I'm going to get rid of this kink right here. So I'm just going to trim a little bit more off. All right, so I actually undid this one here. This zip tie here, leaving it out. I'm not crazy about this, but I don't know. I might get another one of these zip tie holders and put it back here. But now that I have the full flex, no kinking, I'm happy with it. This zip tie is here. It is loose so that there is travel. I don't know. I'm hoping that if I catch something, instead of breaking this stud off here, it's just going to rip the zip ties out, which I'll be okay with. I mean, I guess that's their point. Zip ties I got. $100 metal caps I don't have. So I'm going to put it back down and see how it sits. All right, well, that's where it sits normally. You saw it flex. You saw the axle flexing. I don't know. It sits pretty good. I'm happy with it. So overall, that was really easy. Cheap insurance, I guess. $100 in the grand scheme of John Deere is chump change. I don't mean it to the wallet, I mean it in the land of machinery. It's still $100. It's one of those things that I put on and I hope I never have to think about again. I know I'm probably going to rip that line off, and if that happens, I'll report back to you. But as of right now, as far as the scope of this video, the installation was very easy. No cutting and no drilling or anything like that. It's just kind of stick on. And while it's in the vein of a 2005 Honda Civic owner, I don't know, how much heavy lifting that thing actually has to do. So in that regard, it's okay. Just like anything else I buy for around here, there's only one thing left I have to do. Congratulations, Otis. You've made it to the workbench. That's it for this one. Really easy. Another box just showed up. So if you like this tractory type content and add-ons and bolt-ons and trying things out, make sure to follow along with us. Hit the buttons, blah, blah, blah. I never ask, but I don't want people to miss out because a new, very, very heavy box just showed up, and I'll be installing it on the next video. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.